Come on, she yelled. In a heartbeat, they were over the fence. They raced out of the graveyard, past the unconscious Holtz, past the thugs, and the overturned cement truck. Amy felt a twinge of guilt, leaving the Holtz behind unconscious, but they had no choice. They didn't stop running until they were halfway across the Pont Louis Philippe. Amy doubled over, gasping for breath. At last, they were safe. They survived the trap. But when she looked back, she saw something that scared her worse than the graveyard. Standing in the shadows at the foot of the bridge, 100 yards back, the way they'd come, was a tall, gray-haired man in a black overcoat. And Amy was sure he was watching them. The man in the black coat. Chapter 15. Dan thought Nellie was going to kill them. He'd never seen her face that shade of red before. You did what? She paced the tiny hotel room. 2 hours, you said. 2 hours. And I was standing outside the hotel for like ever, and you didn't come. You didn't call? I thought you were dead. She shook her iPod for emphasis, and the loose earbuds danced around. Our phone didn't work, Amy said sheepishly. We got sidetracked, Dan added. There was this concussive grenade and a cement truck and a battery and a loaf of bread. Dan was pretty sure he covered all the important details, but Nellie looked like she still didn't understand. Start from the beginning, she said, and no lies. Maybe it's just because he was too tired to lie, but Dan told her the whole story. Remember, they weren't supposed to trust anyone, but even about the 39 clues, with Amy filling in the stuff he forgot. So you almost died, Nellie said in a small voice. Those jerks were going to pour cement over you? Maybe a little cement, Dan said. What did the inscription say? Nellie asked. You remember there's a tombstone thingy with an inscription on it? Dan didn't know any French, but he automatically memorized the words on the marble slab. Did you guys memorize those words? No. Me neither. You notice that Dan's got this strange... that's all you know, though, right? There's a lot more to it than that. Dan has this ability to look at it and just memorize it. He has basically a photographic memory. So remember, he memorized that password that she had immediately. He memorized the address immediately. He memorized he memorized something that he doesn't even speak that language. That's pretty impressive. He's got talent. Dan didn't know any French, but he automatically memorized the words on the slab. He repeated them to Nellie. Here lie Amy and Dan Cahill, she translated, who stuck their noses into the wrong people's business. That's what that thing had said in French. That's what it was supposed to be. It was Irina Spassky's fault, Dan said. She tricked us into going there. The whole thing was a setup. And we can't even pay you? Amy added miserably. We don't have enough money for the flight home. I'm really sorry, Nellie. Nellie stood very still. Her glitter eyeshadow was red today, which made her eyes look even angrier. Her arms were crossed over a t-shirt, which showed them a picture of a screaming punk rocker. All in all, she looked pretty scary. Then she grabbed Amy and Dan and hugged them fiercely. She knelt down so she was looking them in the eyes. I've got some credit left on my credit MasterCard. We'll be fine. Dan was confused. But you're not going to kill us? I'm going to help you. Nellie shook his shoulders gently. Nobody messes with my babies at ease. Paris, Dan corrected. Whatever. Get some sleep. Tomorrow, we're going to slap some people senseless. Maison des Gardons did not mean the House of Gardens. Apparently, Gardons meant roaches. Dan found this out because Nellie told him. So the Hotel of Roaches is where they stayed. That's why Nellie is like, that doesn't mean gardens. It means roaches. They're staying at a Hotel of Roaches. And because he heard scuttling sounds along the floor all night long. He wished Saladin was here. The cat could have been a great jungle stalker. In the morning, everybody looked bleary-eyed, but they showered and changed their clothes. Nellie came back from the corner cafe with coffee for herself, hot chocolate for Dan and Amy, and pain au chocolat for all of them. Dan figured any country that ate chocolate for breakfast couldn't be all that bad. So, Dan said, can I get some more grenades today? No, Amy said. Dan, you're lucky it was only concussive. You could have wiped out the whole Holt family. And that would have been bad because... Okay, knock it off, Nellie said. The important thing is you guys are safe. Amy picked at her croissant. She looked pale this morning. Her hair was a tangled mess. Dan, I'm sorry about last night. I panicked. Almost got us killed. Dan had pretty much forgotten that part. He would have been annoyed with her at the time, but it's hard to stay mad when Amy looked so miserable and apologized. Plus, she'd done that cool thing at the battery, which kind of had made up for getting scared. Don't worry about it, he said. But if it happens again... Hey, if we let Irina lure us into a trap again, we're dumber than the Holts. Amy didn't look comforted. What I don't understand is the man in black. Why was he there last night? And if the Holts started the fire in the mansion and set the museum explosion... And what was the man in black doing at both places? Dan finished. And why did Irina have a photo of him? He waited for Amy to come up with one of her, I did a book report on that last year answers, but she just kept frowning at her breakfast. Maybe you guys should concentrate on where we go next, Nellie advised. Amy took a deep breath. I think I know where we need to go. Dan, can I use your laptop? He stared at her because Amy didn't like computers, but finally brought it over and Amy started searching the internet. In no time, she grimaced and turned the screen for them to see. The picture showed a pile of bones in a dark stone room. I've suspected for a while, Amy said, but I was hoping I was wrong because it's risky. The Maze of Bones, that's what Mom said. Note said in Poor Richard's Almanac. We have to explore the catacombs. Is that where they keep the cats? Dan asked. It seemed like a perfectly reasonable question to him, but Amy gave him a "you're such a dummy" look. The catacombs are an underground maze, she said. I told you Paris is riddled with caves and tunnels, right? All the limestone they used to build the city, they dug from under, ever since the Roman days, they dug from underground and left a whole network of empty spaces. Some are just like pits, like the one we fell into last night. Make sure we're listening and not talking. And some are a network of tunnels, Nellie said. Yeah, I remember hearing about this. And they're filled with bones, right? I want a room decorated with bones, Dan said. Where'd they come from? Cemeteries, Amy said. Back in the 1700s, the cemeteries were getting overcrowded, so they decided to dig up a ton of old bodies, all their bones, and move them to the catacombs. The thing is, look at the dates. See when they started moving bones into the catacombs? Dan squinted at the screen. He didn't see what she was talking about. Is it my birthday? No, doofus. Look, 1785. They didn't officially declare it open until the next year, but they started planning the project and began moving the bones in 1785, which was also the last year Benjamin Franklin was in Paris. Whoa, you mean he hid something down there? It got so quiet Dan could hear roaches scuttling in the closet. So, no, I said, we have to go underground into this maze filled with bones and find whatever it is? Amy nodded. Except the catacombs are huge. We don't know where to look. The only thing I can think is there's one public entrance. It says it's right here across from the Denfert Rochero metro station in the 14th arrondissement. But if that's the only public entrance, Dan said, the other teams might head there too. Everyone's been stealing that almanac from each other. They'll figure out the Maze of Bones thing eventually if they haven't already. Good enough for me. Nellie brushed off the chocolate and breadcrumbs from her shirt. Let's go meet your family. Dan's backpack was a lot lighter today, but before he left, he made sure the photo of his parents was still safe in the side pocket. His mom and dad were right where he left them, in the plastic photo album sheet, smiling from the top of the mountain like they hadn't minded sharing space with Franklin Battery and a grenade at all. He wondered if they'd be proud of him for getting out of the pit last night, or if they'd be all protective like Amy. You almost got yourself killed, blah, blah, blah. He decided that they would have been a lot cooler than that. They probably had tons of dangerous adventures. Maybe their house had an arsenal too before it burned down. Dan, Amy called, get out of the bathroom and let's go. Coming, he shouted. He looked at his parents one more time. That's actually important. Thanks for the note about the Maze of Bones, Mom. I won't let you down. He slipped the photo back into his pack and went to join Amy and Nellie. They weren't out of the Denford Rochero Metro station about 2 minutes before they spotted Uncle Alistair. It was kind of hard to miss in his cherry red suit and canary yellow ascot. An ascot is like a scarf that goes around the neck. Fred Jones from Scooby-Doo wears one. If you ever watch Scooby-Doo, he's got that thing around his neck. Fred does. That's what that is. He's wearing one of them. His diamond-tipped cane swinging in one hand. The old man sauntered toward them, smiling with his arms out. As he got closer, Dan noticed he had a black eye. Why would he have a black eye? Noah? Yeah, Eisenhower Holt punched him in the face. My dear children. Nellie whomped him aside the head with her backpack. Oh! Alistair curled over, cupping over his good eye. Nellie, Amy said. Sorry, Nellie muttered. I thought he was one of the bad guys. He is, Dan agreed. No. Alistair tried to smile, but all he could do was wince and blink. Dan figured his other eye was going to be black now to that pop. Nellie's backpack was not light. Children, please, you must believe me. I am not your enemy. You stole the book from us, Dan said, and left us for dead. Children, I admit it. I thought you were lost in the fire. I barely made it out myself. Fortunately, I found a latch that opened the door. I called for you, but you must have discovered another way out. I had the almanac, yes. I couldn't leave it behind. I admit I panicked when I got outside. I feared our enemies were about, or that I would be blamed for the terrible fires, so I fled. Forgive me. Amy's scowl softened, but Dan didn't believe this guy at all. He's lying, Dan said. Trust no one, remember? Should I hit him again? Nellie asked. Uncle Alistair flinched. Please listen, the catacombs are right there. He pointed across the street to a simple building with a black facade. White letters above the door read, Entrée des Catacombes. The street around it looked like a normal neighborhood, townhouses, apartments, pedestrians on their way to work. It's hard to believe there's a maze of dead people that lay right underneath. I must speak with you before you go in, Alistair insisted. All I ask is 10 minutes. You are in grave danger. Grave danger? Dan grumbled. Is that supposed to be a joke? Because they're going into grave. All right. Dan, and he put her hand on his arms. Maybe we should listen to him. 10 minutes. What do we have to lose? Dan could think of a lot of things, but Alistair smiled. Thank you, my dear. There's a cafe just here. Shall we? Alistair was buying, so Dan ordered an early lunch, a turkey and cheese sandwich with chips and a large Coke, which for some weird reason was delivered in a glass with no ice. Oh, that's where we stopped. All right, we got some